For the longest time, I held back from making saag. Everyone said it was hard, it was long, it was tricky, and I only saw Auntia making it. But I'm here to tell you that none of that is true. Welcome to my channel. I'm Mrs. Daughter-in-law, and in today's video we're going to go through how to make 100% fresh homemade saag. For this recipe you need the following ingredients. 1.5 kg of any greens, I recommend half of this being spinach. Today I've used 700 grams of spinach, 500 grams of saro, which is mustard greens, and 300 grams of battu, which is lamb's quarter. And yeah, they have really weird names in English. 125 grams of butter, or you can swap this for 3 tablespoons of oil or ghee. 5 medium to large onions, which can be red or white. 2 green chilies, I've used bullet mircha. 70 grams of ginger, which is about a thumb's length, depending on how big your thumbs are. 1 whole bulb of garlic. And as an optional, you can use some methi, which is a fresh fenugreek. I've used 3 teaspoons of salt, but adjust this to your preference. And the last thing is cornmeal. You need 170 grams. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do is grab the thickest and the hardest leaves that you've got. In my case, this was the saro. And I'm going to take out all of these thick, hard stems, and I'm not going to use those in the saag. Now sprinkle a good amount of salt on here, and we're going to wash these leaves in water. Once you've thoroughly given them a wash, we need to drain all that water out, give them a quick rinse, and we're going to fill it up again with clean water. Give the leaves a good last wash before we use these in the saag. Now in a tall pot, pour in 500 millilitres of water and turn on the gas. Once you've added them all in, start to blend them so that there's no large lumps or stems that remain. Try not to blend it to a pulp, we want to keep some of that texture in there. Now let that cook on a low gas while we start on the soft leaves. So I've got my battu here, I'm going to separate it out and throw away all the stems that I'm not going to use. And the spinach is pretty soft, so we can just throw that straight in. Now let's give this a good wash with some salt. And try and get rid of as much dirt as you can. Once you've given it a thorough wash, drain that out. Fill it up again with some clean water, and we're going to rinse this all off. Once that's rinsed, we're going to take this over to our pot. You might have to do this in a few parts. Let's start putting in our spinach and our soft leaves, and we're going to start to blend this. You definitely don't want to overblend this one, otherwise it ends up like baby food. Throw in all the rest of it, give it a good blend, and there we go. Now put the lid on and cook this on low gas for about 40 minutes. You'll see the colour changes to a dark green. This is your cue to add in your macchiato. So for this, take your macchiato and mix it thoroughly in some cold water to make sure there's no lumps at all. It's probably easier using a fork for this. Now take your macchiato mixture and add it into the saag. Give it a good old mix. By the way, if you like these videos, a sub to the channel would be awesome. We're going to let this cook on low gas for another 20 minutes while we can start on the tadka. Add in your butter, oil or ghee into the pan and let it melt down. Tip: if you're using butter, add a little bit of oil as well to stop the butter burning. While it's melting, we're going to start on the onions. So peel these, give them a wash, and then let's dice them down. Once you've cut your onions, we're going to throw them into the pan and let those start cooking on a medium gas while we prepare the other things. So the first thing you need to do is grab your ginger. Let's peel that and thinly slice it. Make sure you slice against the direction of the hairs of the ginger, otherwise you'll end up getting the strings in your food. Now peel the garlic and roughly chop the chili. We're going to throw this all into a grinder anyway to finely chop them, and we're going to put that into the pan. Let it all cook for about 5 minutes on a medium gas. Keep stirring throughout. You don't want to let your tadka get any darker than this, otherwise you might start to get a burnt taste. And we're going to add in the salt now. The last thing you want to do, if you fancy it, is to add in some methi. It really adds a nice depth of flavour to the saag, so all you have to do is chop that up and let it cook for a few minutes. Mix the tadka into the saag, and we're done. Do let me know in the comments below how your saag making efforts turn out. The more you make it, the easier it gets, trust me. I make saag every couple of weeks now just because it's super easy to follow this recipe. And plus, using these fresh greens is way healthier than using the tinned saag. For more from Mrs. Daughter-in-law, please like and subscribe and let me know what other recipes you're eager to get stuck into. See you on the next one!